In this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what you need to be doing to win money playing Underdog Fantasy. If you're scrolling the Underdog board and you're just betting off your gut because Jahmyr Gibbs has been playing good, you think he's going to go over rush yards, and you know what? Jordan Love, easy, 250 pass yards, he hits that all the time. You're doing it wrong. You need to rewire your brain and stop betting with your gut like I mentioned. You're only going to be like majority of sports bettors and lose money long-term doing that. What you need is a strategy and a tool that's going to help you guarantee long-term profits on apps like Underdog, Prizepicks, and other DFS apps. And that strategy is called Plus EV Betting, and the tool is this website called Daily Grind Fantasy that helps you find positive expected value bets by comparing sportsbooks lines and odds directly back to Underdog and other DFS apps. Plus EV betting is pretty much this, where you are finding bets on Underdog or other DFS apps that when comparing back to the rest of the market, these different sportsbooks and DFS apps, you are getting amazing value that eventually will be bumped in your favor. Before we talk about what you should be looking for when trying to find a profitable bet on Underdog, it's important that you know the math behind these Underdog slip types and the ones you should be playing. If you're playing two-man powers on Underdog, you need to stop immediately. That is by far the hardest slip type to profit long-term playing on Underdog, as you need to be right on your individual legs almost 58+% of the time in order to be profitable long-term playing that slip type. However, three mans with a 6x payout, you only need to be right around 55+% of the time on your individual legs to be profitable long-term playing that slip type. And same thing with 5-man flexes, 55+%. But by far, the best slip type to play on Underdog is going to be your 6-man flex. You only need to be right on your individual legs 53.7+% of the time in order to be profitable long-term playing that slip type. So I know it sounds crazy to tell you to stop playing two-mans when they're technically easier to hit, but long-term, you have to be hitting at a higher hit rate, around 58% instead of 54%. Almost a 4% difference is a lot in sports betting, and it's very hard to be right on your individual legs 58% of the time. So why make it harder on yourself? Just play the 6-mans. There's going to be some variance. You're not going to win every slip as it's a 6-leg parlay, but you could go 0 of 18 and then win your next slip, and then you are very profitable over those last 19 slips. We'll talk more about variance and bankroll management a little bit later in this video, but now that you know you should be playing either 3-mans, 5-mans, or most importantly 6-man flexes, let's get into how you should be looking for these props. Like I said, you'll want to use Daily Grind Fantasy to compare sportsbooks lines and odds back to Underdog to find the best possible value. And let's look at this first example here. Scotty Barnes' points and rebounds is listed at 24.5 on Underdog, and the optimizer at Daily Grind Fantasy is recommending the over. But why is that? If we look across at the rest of the sportsbook market and DFS app market, we see that almost every single book has this higher at either 25.5 or 26.5. And the few books that do have this at 24.5 is at favorable odds of -130 or higher. The market's kind of all over the place, but if you look at it like this in two different ways, we are getting some pretty good value. If you look at the books that have this set to 26.5, we are getting this almost 2 full points and rebounds off from the sportsbook market. However, if you just look at the books that have it set to 24.5, just like Underdog, they're favoring it -130 or higher to happen for him to go over 24.5 points plus rebounds. We get that same prop instead of -130 plus on the sportsbooks at -116 odds in a 6-man flex on Underdog. And Daily Grind Fantasy is super clutch. They actually do all of the math on the back end to find the true fair odds percentage or odds percent to hit these plays have based on where the sportsbook market has these projections and odds. And they are giving this play a 57.68% chance to hit based on all of the information from these sports books. And why is that big? Because if you remember from a few clips ago, you need to be right on your individual legs above 53.7+% of the time playing those 6-man flexes. And this is even good for a 3-man or a 5-man as it's above 55+%. So yes, it's really that easy when using Daily Grind Fantasy. You need to find 3 or 5 props that have above an average fair odds percentage or odds percent to hit when you average them above 55+%, or if you're building out a 6-man slip, you need to just find props that have above a 53.7+% chance to hit and get them in a 6-leg Underdog slip together. And if you guys want to check out Daily Grind Fantasy, I will leave a link down in the description, but if you use code DustinDGF9, you will get 25% off your very first month. If you're looking for props based off the last 5 or last 10 game logs, the sportsbooks already know that. right? They know that LeBron James has gone over 20.5 points in 9 out of the last 10 games. They know how he plays on the road versus home. They know all of this information. It's already baked into these sportsbooks projections and odds. Pretty often, Underdog is a little bit slower and just not as sharp as the rest of those sportsbooks, so we're able to take advantage of them. Domantas Sabonis is also a fine play, suggesting the over of 18.5 on Underdog because the rest of the sportsbook market has this majority at 19.5 or even 19, like you can see if we just compare to Prizepicks. But the few books that have this set to 18.5 are heavily favoring the over. So once again, we would be getting this at the best possible projection and odds playing this in a 6-pick on Underdog. And if you stick to it and you consistently find the best value and get it in your 6-man flexes, you are going to see more of these and these. And this one might look a little different. That's because it was from the AI slip generator at Daily Grind Fantasy, which is an AI tool that I'll show you about now. This tool does exactly what I just showed you, but it uses AI line comparing technology to find the best value and then build out full slips for you to tail. As you can see here, this is an Underdog slip that it spit out, and all you would simply do is just tail this slip. And since launch, the AI slip generator at Daily Grind Fantasy is up over 2,100 units, which means if you were a $20 unit bettor, you place $20 on each slip, you would be up over $40,000. This tool is by far the easiest and most profitable tool to use in DFS. You can see it actually has multiple other DFS apps that it builds out slips for by doing the same thing, just line comparing. But you can trust this tool because you know that line comparing across the sports books and back to these different DFS apps, like I just explained, is a proven profitable strategy. AI is just a lot faster at spotting that value and then building out slips, cutting out the middleman or the hard work you have to do to manually line compare, and just simply gives you these slips to tail, which means you can just enter them in, beat the bumps, and secure the best possible value. Now let me just show you how easy and quick it is to enter a slip off the AI slip generator on Underdog. Right there it is, a slip from Underdog at the very top. We reveal the slip, and then what we're gonna do is just enter it in. Jaren Jackson. So we type in Jaren Jackson, and we know that we are going to be taking the over of 20.5 points plus assists. We go back to the AI slip generator, ZTR over 28.5 kills, ZTR. We're going to be taking the over of 28.5 kills. Up next, we're going to be taking Lucky over 5.5 headshots. And this is in CSGO as well, which you can also find some really good value in. Ayo Dasunumu, we're going to be taking over points and assists. And here we go, points plus assists. We have that here at 19.5. Up next, Zont, I guess it would be called, over 5.5 map 1 headshots. And then Zach Hicks for Penn State under points plus rebounds. Zach Hicks under points plus rebounds. And then we're going to go ahead and put in the amount we would like to play it for. Make sure it's a flex and hit enter. And boom, it's that easy. This allows you to get slips in seconds rather than minutes. And this is huge when finding plus EV bets because they are so profitable. They have an edge against whatever book you are putting them in on. And these books do not like when the user has an edge because they're all about making money against their customers. Therefore, when there is an edge against them, they need to find these edges and either bump or remove these props before too many people get them in. So the longer you take getting these in, the more likely they are to be bumped and you miss out on good value. If you consistently find value like this and you get it in at volume, you are going to be a long-term profitable sports bettor on Underdog. But my last important tip is about variance and bankroll management. As I mentioned earlier, you're not going to hit every slip, even if it's off the AI slip generator. These are still 6-leg parlays, and even securing the best value, you can still lose sometimes. So it's important that you never put more than 1% of your bankroll on a single slip. If you have $500 in your bankroll, you should never be betting more than $5 per slip. This allows you to fight variance. If you go on a little bit of a losing streak and you lose 12, 13 slips in a row, you have money to stay in the game until you hit that 25x to boost your profits again. But if you had $500 and you were betting $50 a slip, you'd be out in just a few slips if you went on that losing streak. I've done a ton of videos about beating Prizepicks if you guys want to check those out on the channel, but that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something. If you guys did, make sure you guys drop a like on the way out, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button as we post sports betting content like this every single week.